in a perfect world, what would you love to see happen by the end of today? Or like, what's your goal?
With the bird.
He's been on my shoulder as a shoulder bird since 14 weeks old.
Okay.
He's travelled all the way up down the east coast of Australia. I've lost him for 29 hours. My idea is to use him as my shoulder bird everywhere and not have a lead on him or anything like that, and free flying. So if we can do all that by today.
No.
I like you set your expectations low.
And then I want to put him in my show too, so you are the best man to talk about that.
Okay, that might be more of a private conversation from the magic standpoint, but more than happy to help there for sure. Has he done any free flight intentionally?
No. I've lost him up to 10 times now, and the longest I've lost him for was 29 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that. This is not a competition.
It's not something we encourage.
So I just want him to be on my shoulder all the time, and I want to have the magician persona look 24/7 bird parrot. Yeah, that's what I'm going for.
Okay.
Lots of. I've actually got poo catchers now.
Yeah. It's classy.
I think it's me now. I've gotten nervous since I lost him those few times. That's heartbreaking, hey. And for those hours, it's whoa.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't take him out of the house as much anymore.
Yeah.
For the first year of his life, when he wasn't too good at flying because he was clipped, he was perfect outside with dogs, with people everywhere. So I want to get him back to that.
Disclaimer, because I know free flight's going to be a bit of a conversation today. Our free flight course is 3 months. Mm-hmm. So what I can teach you in 3 hours is going to be just a sliver of the information. So I want to say on video, if you lose your birds, it's not my fault. She didn't take the course. So I can definitely help you kind of see maybe where the mistakes were and avoid those, and like give you some ideas of how to improve on it. But as you guys are aware, and you've probably heard us say, training's very fluid, and so I might give you advice, and the second you go to apply it, it might go a different route, because and you'll see, maybe we start one thing today and then we go down a different path because that's what the bird's offering. So our job is to try to teach you and give you the most tools that we can, so that you know to go down that path if that's the direction the bird's taking you. But as a free flight course, I mean, I can't do that in 3 hours, but I can certainly give you some tips to get you in the right direction. The biggest tip that we were giving yesterday during the workshops is pick a trainer, stick to their methods, and don't go on the forums, ignore the forums, because it's full of people that don't teach. It's people that have raised a baby bird and their bird does it great because the bird's not mature yet, and so it's still coming back, so they want to give you all the advice and you look at their videos and it's successful. But the people that only do it as baby birds don't have the background that we do, or that a lot of other trainers may, of, okay, let's take an adult bird that's 15 years old, that's been caged and is mostly atrophied, let's get that bird free flying, or 45-year-old Amazon. You know, that's where our expertise comes into play and where we want to help you, because once baby birds become mature, it's a totally different ball game. They're no longer coming back to you because of this baby bond. It's, you have to be a damn good trainer. And so that's what I'll try to get you into that.
So 2's a good age, yeah?
2's about the end of your baby bond. So that's probably, I'd have to know more of your scenario, but that could be partly why you're having fly-offs, and it could be just a skill-based thing. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of information that I don't have that would paint the backstory, but I'll try to dig into that as we go on today. What's your issue? What do you want to see?
With Kermit, I just want him to be, he's friendly, he's good, he does what I ask. I just want to make him, not even, how do I put it? He's good, but I know he could be better. He's not food orientated. I can't get him to do silly little tricks that, okay, come to this spot, come over here, push this trolley thing and stuff like that. And my major goal would be able to call him and he flies to me.
Okay, I'm gonna question what you said. You said he's friendly, he's good, he does what you ask, and then you said he doesn't come when you call him. He doesn't go over here, he doesn't do it.
I go and get him when I want him, but I want him to be when I've gone and got him. He's good. He doesn't bite. He doesn't do anything naughty. He does as he's told. But I want him to do more than just do as he's told. Can you do a trick for me? Can you spin? Can you walk to this spot? Can you push the little trolley? Can you come when you're called so I don't have to get off my butt and go and get you? He walks around my house. He's normally free when I'm at home. But he's just learning to fly because he had a really bad botch job.
Yeah.
One wing like a duck.
Oh no.
And he had a bad injury on his chest because of it, because he was trying to learn to fly.
Yep.
And he ended up with an abscess on his chest. So we had to clip both of them to keep him on the ground while all of this healed. So that was a pretty bad experience for him. At home, I can launch him to my husband, but he doesn't land. He hasn't mastered the landing yet. And then we try and give him a treat because he's done what I asked him to do to fly to that point as best as he can.
Yeah.
And then he's not interested in it.
Don't tell me. Echo's diet?
Oh man, he eats chicken, bacon, he eats noodles, he eats pasta. Do you know what I mean? Echo's bad, man, like me. He loves passion fruits, strawberries, blueberries. I give him a 4 bean mix.
You're so screwed.
I almost brought pasta as his reward for today. That's how much Kermit likes pasta.
Okay.
And butter. He has an addiction.
Oh, butter. Good.
Butter.
That's a good one.
So you guys feeling any better?
I don't let him have it all the time.
You're off the hook, Nomad.
I don't let him have it. I know it's bad for him, but every now and again he gets a bit of toast and
Let
it's
him
got
have it.
butter
Just
on
leave
it.
it out for him to get.
I actually had to hide the butter in the house because he would find it.
Just again, you guys are cool with me videotaping.
I won't tell you. Okay, I will tell you what Kermit does do.
Okay.
We're smokers, and he does sometimes get in and trash the ashtrays and chews on the butts, or he'll come and pinch them out of your mouth while they're lit. He does have a small addiction to nicotine.
I like the honesty.
So we've had to hide ashtrays, hide everything.
Do you smoke in the house though?
Yeah.
Damn,
But in another room from the birds.
Whew, I'm exhausted.
Monday mornings. Holy shit, we have a long way to go. What would your ultimate goal be today? What would you like to learn? What would you like to...
I think all in all, like if I can get a few tools so I can, teach him. We've got a few little issues. For instance, I don't like him sitting on my shoulder because he nibbles hard. Yeah, because when I free fly him, I try to keep him on my hand, but he tends to, if he actually gets up on my shoulder, it's virtually trying to get him off the shoulder is not, because he knows he doesn't want to get off.
He goes
So I
to
virtually,
the back.
I just virtually got to take him and just
Hold on to the collar.
and just stick him
And
off.
then on the rest
Yeah,
that walks around with him like stuck
Yeah.
in his neck.
that's it.
Shoulder rusher.
Yes.
So he has to like shake him off.
Yeah, and he's also like he's a bit nippy. Once upon a time he wasn't nippy, but now he's
to
nippy.
adulthood.
And, yes, and he's because he was always, when we got him as a baby, he'd love to sort of grab hold of your whole thumb and just like gnaw on it a little bit, and of course that's cute, right? So you let him.
It's adorable.
One day you'll be big and strong, and then my thumb will be gone. But that's, but he's trained for free flight, perfect, no problems there whatsoever. Newly trained,
flight.
and 29 hours, 3 days, baby.
Ooh,
3 days
3 days.
in Camden. I live in Hunter's Hill.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
It
about.
takes an hour to drive there.
Yep.
So they say we've spotted him and we have to sit in the car for an hour going like, please don't fly away. But he came back, no problem. And the coolest thing is that there's a whole crowd of people waiting underneath this tree he was sitting, and he was not coming down for anybody. As soon as he saw me, he's trying to sort of get down. In the end, I did the Tarzan thing and actually climbed up, but he's like running to me, like in the tree, and getting all the rest of it. Yeah.
saw me and he came down. Well, I did the Tarzan thing. And like, this is like,
Be big and strong, and I'll have to climb the damn tree.
We go too. It's all good.
Yeah, no, we've got that big climbing up and getting him.
It is.
So we got it where he flew off, and then 3 days later, I got him out of the tree. But he was not, I've never seen him like that before.
Notice the way he's not talking to me. Yeah.
So he gets all the fresh veggies and all that sort of stuff. My only little thing is obviously in the night time, he's in his cage. When we eat, he wants to eat. So he has the odd chicken drumstick and the pasta.
He's learning how to take
He likes steak. Had some prawns the other night. But he seems happy.
Space right now.
Jumping back, he basically, I'm hearing he's a shoulder rusher and he's nippy.
Yes.
And
the one thing I would like, because he comes to me constantly, like whenever I come in the room, he'll fly to me.
He sounds like a dog.
He is, and I'd love for him to say, "This is your stick. You're gonna sit there. I'm gonna eat, and I'm gonna eat, and you're not gonna fly to me." And that's it.
Oh
So now
my
ultimately, we have to shut him in the cage because otherwise he'll be constantly at my side. So
Eating your ears.
so
you might
weird.
like one of these. I tell you.
The goals today are pretty.
I'm glad you're teaching this class.
yeah. Okay. Well, first of all, I like that you guys are
Honest.
honest. Yeah. It's, and everybody's screwing up so royally that there's going to be a lot of improvements. Cool. So I'm going to start with the diet. These are really specific to each individual person, but we need to go totally clean slate with everybody.
Hey guys, Jamie Lee here. So one of the things that I wanted to go over about this video is I get a lot of questions about what our master classes consist of, what they look like, and how they work. And I just kind of wanted to do a little bit of a video series on answering that and showing you guys what they consist of and what they look like. Sometimes I think it can come off a certain way because I'm condensing a 3-hour class into 20 digestible minutes for you guys to watch here on YouTube. I try to focus on just one lesson per video at a time so that you can kind of really take in and let that single lesson sink in. But the truth is a ton of stuff is happening at these master classes because we have multiple people, multiple birds, multiple learning styles, and then we also have multiple trainers. Both Dave and myself are there, so we take turns videotaping. Sometimes I'm setting the camera down to videotape, but I just wanted to show you what the very beginning of the class looks like. Honestly, we have a ton of fun with our students. It's a light-hearted sort of situation or environment for everybody. We want people and we encourage our students to be very open and vulnerable. I always ask permission that I can videotape them and share it on YouTube, and if they aren't comfortable, then I don't videotape, and if they are, we all just go about the day as is. As you could tell, we had a great time with the students that you're seeing. Now what happens in the very beginning is we sit down with everybody, we ask them about their birds, what the age and the species is, the gender if they know, and then what they want to accomplish out of coming to our class. The second thing we go over is the diet and basically the overall health and environment that that bird is coming from. We want to know what people are feeding, what the favorite treats are, how they came to those conclusions, where they got their information, and what they plan to change if they do. Now, diet is huge. It's one of the foundations of having not only a healthy parrot, but a good companion pet that you can actually work with and keep thriving in captivity based off that healthy diet. To be honest, a lot of people are feeding crap, and it's not because they're bad people, it's because they either don't know better or their bird came to them eating that and they are having one heck of a time trying to transition that. Maybe they haven't found the right resources, they haven't kept at it. A lot of people tend to give up when they offer fruits and vegetables or just vegetables and their bird doesn't eat it. They're just like, my bird doesn't like vegetables, I'm screwed. That's not the case. Sometimes it can take a really long time, but there are tons of ways and tips and tricks that you can use to trick a bird into eating healthy. We have free downloadable guides on my website, birdtricksstore.com, of how to transition from an all-seed diet to a pelleted diet, from a crappy pellet to a healthy pellet. Those are free downloads on my site. Those are free resources for you to use, for you to pass around, give to a friend, share with a colleague, anything. I want that information out there. My cookbook set which is my natural feeding system, literally goes with the seasons so that you're feeding based on the produce that is in season, but you're feeding the best foods. Now, the main system of my cookbook, which is the natural feeding system, is the goal. That's what I want to see every pet parrot eating, aside from lories or lorikeets or any of your fruit-based species. So it's not for them. But that's the ultimate of what a bird should be eating. However, all the other recipes, which there's 70 plus in there, are ways to transition your bird over to that ultimate goal. So before I came up with the cookbook series, I asked my customers and clients, I said, what are you feeding your bird? What is it totally stuck on, even if it's human food like lasagna or pizza or mac and cheese or all the things that we eat on a daily basis that we happen to share with our bird, and now our bird will refuse nothing less than that. I wanted to know those things so that I could replicate them in a bird-safe way to get your bird off the human version and onto a bird-safe version, which would hopefully help your bird get onto the healthy foods. Now, a lot of the cookbook stems around changing up the colors, the textures, and the temperatures of the food that you give. A lot of people don't realize, but some birds prefer to hold food in their feet and really crunch on it and eat it. So those birds, they are gonna want the chunkier recipes. Other birds tend to like really wet, mushy foods. Other birds like cold, other birds like warm. It changes so drastically, and finding those little nuances about your bird, even if your bird is a sweet beak, which is what I call birds who really love fruit and anything sweet, we have recipes for those birds too. Keep in mind that when you introduce a very healthy version of a parrot diet, such as my natural feeding system, which is comprised of mostly vegetables, you can incorporate foods that your bird absolutely loves, that you're sure your bird loves, so that your first introduction is successful. We don't want a bird turning up its beak at this recipe and then never looking back. You want that first introduction to be successful, and then keep in mind that's temporary and you can always wean out the unhealthy foods. So if you need to sprinkle some millet on there for the small birds, if you need to crush some almonds or some nuts in there for the medium birds, or if you need to maybe incorporate corn, lots of birds love corn, incorporate that, or even fruit, you can do that initially as your introduction and just look at it as a almost weaning phase to wean your bird off of the unhealthy foods and onto the healthy foods. I cannot stress enough how important diet is. And the reason I'm always talking about it is because I hear about it all the time. And so for me, I can't address it enough because I consistently meet someone who doesn't know better. And I want the information to be out there, and I want you guys to go spread it far and wide for everybody to know. Especially with species like eclectus and cockatoos who are so sensitive to an improper diet and show it in their feathers and behaviors so much more, I feel like, than other species of birds. Now, I just want this information to be out there, and I don't want this video to be too long. I want you guys to be able to see what a masterclass looks like, how much fun we have with our students, even when we're hearing bad information, and how much time that we can take to dedicate to encouraging people to do better by their birds by doing better by their diet. I hope that this message reaches you guys and sticks with you, and if your bird is on an unhealthy diet right now, that you go ahead and try to make those changes. Download those guides. I'll leave a link in the description to my cookbook, my natural feeding system, my free guides on my website. Just whatever you can do to improve your bird's diet today, please do it and stick with it. It may not happen as quickly as you want to. Embrace the pace of your bird and just stick with it. Slow and steady does win the race. So don't be easily discouraged by your bird not liking the fresh foods right away. Please stick with it. Go on and ask other people for tips and tricks on how they got their bird to eat healthy stuff. Make it fun, make it interactive, make toys out of food. A lot of the recipes in my cookbook encourage you to wrap food up in like bok choy or Swiss chard and hang it in the cage. So you're making it almost a foraging toy. You're making it fun. You're getting the bird to play with it, because what that does is it gets the bird to get a taste for it as well, and that will lead you to success. So I'm sorry to be so long-winded about diet, but it's something I'm passionate about, and I hope that everybody takes it seriously and yeah. I guess that's it. I will continue another section to this masterclass so you guys get to see the lessons that these people went through and got to learn. And I hope you guys enjoy this masterclass series so that if you're on the fence about booking a masterclass with us, this will let you know whether or not it's for you.
About it. It's whatever's fresh when I go to the greengrocer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't use any of this footage. This is gonna take so much editing.
All right. Does he like sunflower or almonds better?
It's a bit of much of a muchness.
What?
That means the same.
The same. You're gonna get a lot of. You're gonna get a lot of
muchness.
muchness.
It's the same size.
Same different. Same but different.
You're gonna get a lot of Aussie slang out of me.